Hey there, welcome back to Xtreme. My name's Matt and I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide on how to use the Allen Heath desk in the control room at Xtreme Studios. Now we're going to break this down into 3 steps. The first step is setting up the speakers so that they can receive audio from wherever you're sending it. The second step is setting up playback. So being able to listen to audio from the computer through the speakers. The third step is getting audio from the live room into the control room, through the desk and out of the speakers. So let's crack on. The first step is setting up the speakers. So what you'll need to do is head over to the middle parts of the console. Now you've got a dial here called monitors. It's actually got a pair of headphones next to it. Ignore the headphones and turn that up. You don't want to turn it all the way up. You just want to turn it up to say 10 o'clock, something like that. The next button you want to press is L and R. So tap L and R. That stands for left and right. We're talking about your left and right speakers. So next step, if we head all the way down, we can skip all of these buttons here. And we're going to have a look at these 2 mute buttons. Let's take those off. Now at the bottom you should see the 2 yellow faders here have L and R. So again, left speaker, right speaker. What we're going to do is just push those up to 0. And that's the first part complete. Your speakers are now ready to receive audio from wherever you're sending it from. So, part 2. I want to hear the audio from the computer, from the Mac that is hooked up to the desk. I want to hear that through the speakers. So I'm going to head over to the right hand side of the desk. Now conveniently, just to make it easier, there is a bit of tape at the bottom that says playback. That'll probably be harder to see on the video because it's a little bit grainy, but that bit of tape there says playback. Your channels are 25 and 26. And what we're going to do is set this up as an audio input from the computer. So we're going to start from the top, and the first button I'm going to be pressing is line. Now this is because we're taking a line input from the computer rather than a microphone input. Next I'm going to turn the gain dials up around about 10 o'clock again, and I'm going to make sure that the gain is exactly the same on each channel. I don't want one louder than the other. Now if I follow the channels all the way down, I'm going to skip pretty much the whole desk and I'm going to concentrate on pan, which are the brown coloured dials. So if I switch the right one all the way to the right, hard panned to the right, and I'm going to take the left channel, so that's 25, and pan it all the way to the left. What this is allowing me to do is create a stereo image. These independent tracks, left and right, 25 and 26, are sending out to the left speaker and the right speaker only, creating a stereo mix. Next, I'm going to head down to mute, which is right underneath the pan. So let's take that off for both. And next, I want to press L and R. So this is the relationship between pressing L and R near your monitors, so this button here, and your playback. If I press L and R, it is telling it, these channels, to send it to the main monitor outputs. So as long as you've got these 2 buttons, L and R, and that button, L and R, pressed, that will send the audio from here to here, which is exactly what you want to do. Now I'll start fading up the faders, and we should start hearing a bit of audio. And you can see the LEDs here on the meter start flashing green. If you're seeing anything going into the red, you're pushing it too hard, and you'll probably hear things distorting. So always try and keep things at a safe level. The reason they call these faders is because you can fade the audio in and out. So the worst mistake you can really make is having the channels muted and then pushing the faders all the way up, and then unmuting. Now I'm not going to do it because it's going to cause problems with the speakers. It's going to be really loud, it might deafen me. So always make sure you work from the top down. So faders are down, I'm going to unmute the channel, and then I'm going to push the faders up. So that is getting your audio from your computer to your speakers. You'll need to do that if you're in a Logic project and you want to hear the recording you've just made back, or you want to hear the backing track or the click track in the control room. So the next step is getting the audio from the live room into the control room. Now it's a very similar setup to the playback that we just ran through there, but we're starting from the left-hand side of the desk. It all depends what microphone you've got plugged into the live room on the other side as to which channel you're going to use. But in the live room, I've used an SM58. I've got it pointed at a MacBook, which is just playing a song. And the SM58 I know is a dynamic microphone, so I'm not going to be using phantom power or 48 volts. So I'm going to head over to channel 1 because that's where I placed my microphone in the live room. I know that it is a dynamic microphone, so I'm not going to press the top button up here. But if you were using a condenser microphone, you would press the top red button plus 48 volts. That will send power to the microphone and allow it to work. So I'm going to head down. This time I'm not going to press line because I am taking an XLR input. I'm taking a microphone input. I am not taking the input of the jack in the back of the desk, so I can skip that. So really my first step is turning the gain dial up, and again I'm going to turn this to around about 10 o'clock just to not crank it up too much. Again, I'm skipping all of this part of the desk. I'm going to go down to pan, but I'm not going to make any changes here. You might want to make a change to your pans if you were using overheads. If you had a couple of overheads that you wanted the left and the right microphone working sort of independently coming from each speaker, then you might want to pan those left and right. In this case, we're just using a single microphone and I don't need to pan it. So I'm going to head down to mute. I'm going to take mute off. I'm going to head down to L and R and I'm going to press that down. Now, just like the playback, that has linked this channel to the main monitor mix. So I'm sending audio from here over to here. Next, I'm going to push the fader up. Just turning the gain up because it's a really quiet part of the song next door. Again, if I want to mute the track, I'm going to pull the fader down, mute it. So when I unmute it, I push the fader back out and I fade the audio in. There we go. So that is a quick guide to using the desk in the control room. Always remember at the end of a session to undo everything that you just did. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn the gain all the way down. I'm going to keep the pan in the middle, turn the mute on, take L and R off and make sure the fader is down. I'll go through the desk and I'll make sure that everything is zeroed so that nothing is on and everything is back where it should be for the next person. Alright, thanks a lot guys. If you ever have any problems in here, just pop into the office, find myself or Ted. Don't sit in here in your own time, completely lost, losing time because you're not quite sure what's happened. Sometimes there's problems with people pressing buttons in and not resetting it after a session, which could cause you problems in your session. So rather than just sit there, pop into the office and have a chat with myself or Ted. All right, thanks a lot.